Good afternoon, everyone. The time now is 5:13. I'm News 6 anchor Julie Broughton. We are joined here on Facebook Live with our legal expert, Steve Kramer. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a big day today.
It's been a crazy day today.
The big talker, of course, today is State Attorney Aramis Ayala saying she will not seek the death penalty against Markieff Lloyd or in any case that goes through her office. Were you surprised when you woke up this morning and heard this?
Absolutely, but what's been even more interesting is what's transpired over the course of the day, which
Yes.
is a showdown between the state attorney and now the attorney general and governor, and I don't think it's going to end here.
Yeah, I mean, what is your opinion on the governor removing her from this case?
Well, I think the governor is basing that on what he views as her unwillingness to enforce the law of the land. And the law of the land is basically that, if there was ever a case that should be a death penalty case, this is that case.
So is it within her legal right to say that she will not be pursuing death penalty cases through her office at all?
That is a difficult distinction to make. So every prosecutor has prosecutorial discretion. That's the nature of being an executive officer, is you get to make those calls. Are we going to proceed with these cases or not? Now, we've seen some prosecutors that have declined to prosecute marijuana cases in the past, and there's been a little bit of latitude from the governor's office and from the attorney general. But when you talk about something that is as emotionally volatile and so important in the community as the death penalty, that's not going to get ignored. And if it's limited to this one case, that isn't the type of action that's going to result in a removal or that kind of showdown that's going to be removal. But the statement was broader than that, and if the statement truly meant she's not going to prosecute the death penalty, I think you could see a showdown.
And you mentioned this case being so emotional and volatile. I'm checking our Facebook right now to see if we're getting any comments. I'm not seeing our video coming up here, but so maybe someone can look for me and tell me if we're getting any comments or questions. So if you do have any comments or questions, please let us know. But earlier today, a lot of people that were commenting on our Facebook page when we were posting about this were very upset about this, because as you said, it's a very emotional case.
Well, it is. You've got a case that if you believe in the death penalty, this is the archetype of the case that would be a death penalty case. You've got a female officer shot execution style lying on the ground in a parking lot, and you've got video of it. On top of that, the same perpetrator in that case is accused of executing his girlfriend, who is pregnant with an unborn child. If those aren't aggravating circumstances that would justify the death penalty, then I don't know what is.
During Ayala's press conference earlier today, she said that the death penalty cases turn out to cost the state a lot more money than, say, someone saying in life or prison for life. So she listed that as one of the reasons. What's your opinion on that?
Sure. And there is a lot of argument in jurisprudence about whether death penalty is the right solution or the wrong solution. Those arguments are economic. There is a huge economic cost to applying the death penalty. It's much more expensive than putting away somebody for life. And then there's the argument as to whether the death penalty leads to deterrence. Does it prevent crime? And there's an argument about that. Do people not commit crime because of the death penalty, or do they avoid crime because of it? But these are arguments that are arguments in jurisprudence, which is what us lawyers and judges argue about what the law should be. And these are political arguments. And whether they're right or wrong, that's not my position to say here.
Right.
What is a reality, though, is that the law of the land is that the state and the community has made the decision that they do want to apply the death penalty. So, the argument is that a constitutional officer should be upholding the law of the land until it changes. That's the job of the legislature, to change the law, and then for the governor to either veto or sign that. But until that happens,
right,
the law is what it is.
Okay, so it looks like we were getting some comments and some questions. Oh, we got a lot. Let's see. Let's read through here, see if we've got any questions. We got a lot of comments. Sheila says this should be a death penalty case. Tara says, thank goodness. # Governor Scott. Sanan says this is a death penalty case.
Looks very strongly in favor of death penalty.
Clay chimed in. He says the governor did the right thing, should be removed from office. Brad King will do a great job. Brad King, of course, is who the governor has appointed to this case.
Argument is basically that this decision is really playing into the hands of the donors that really supported her campaign, that very much are anti-death penalty. But really the argument is that is something that should be brought to the people of the state of Florida to let them make that decision.
Yeah, and Katie Keel chimes in. She says the jury needs to decide. So that's what you're saying, that the consensus seems to be that people needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, one is you've got the people of the state of Florida decide whether it's going to be the law of the land or not, and the other thing you've got is the jury gets to make the ultimate call. They get to, and of course now we've modified our laws. Now you're going to have a unanimous jury to invoke the death penalty. So.
Yeah, and someone else commenting again, Walmart has the video. There's video of what transpired in the Walmart parking lot. So
again, that's one of those factors. Overwhelming proof is what we consider that.
So Katie says, does this change what they will pursue?
Well, it does. They're not going to pursue the death penalty,
right.
And they're going to pursue life in prison. The question is, does this change what they're going to pursue in every case? And what it looked like is that statement was they're not going to pursue the death penalty at all.
Right, and that certainly is what it sounded like. Scott commented, with all the automatic appeals and keeping a death row inmate in solitary, it costs more to put them to death than to do life in prison, which is one of the reasons that she cited when she was talking about this.
That's right, but again, that probably constitutes more of a political argument than within the discretion of the state attorney. Just like as a judge, you've got to follow the law, even if you don't agree with it. Sometimes you've got to do what the law says, not what you feel personally is the right thing.
Right. So we are getting, it seems like it's very heavily in favor of making this a death penalty case.
Well, a great example also is, for instance, Barack Obama. He was president for 8 years. I don't believe that personally he was in favor of the death penalty. I think he came out and he made statements about that on a few different occasions, right? But under his administration, there were executions.
Yeah.
I mean, one that comes to mind is the Boston bomber was executed. That's one of those cases.
Yeah. What do you think we're
I'm
going
right
to see
about
happen
that, right?
next?
What happens next for
this whole showdown we've got going on?
Well, I think you're going to see. I think you've got a number of lawyers and law clerks digging into their books right now, figuring out what is the procedure to potentially remove a state attorney from office, and trying to figure out what the mechanism for that is. Because I think there has been a showdown initiated that is not going to end here.
Do you think that's something we could see, them trying to remove her from office?
I certainly think it's being looked at right now. I certainly think it's being examined. That's a difficult decision to make, though, because, I mean, like her positions or not, she just got elected. She was just elected by the people. I don't know that this was one of the platform statements that she made in her campaign or not, but, she was just elected by the will of the people. And, whether they remove her or not, she's going to be up for re-election, and this is something that will come up then, if not now.
Okay, again, more people saying, thank you, Governor Scott, remove her from office. Okay, lots of people commenting. You're going to be on our 5:30 newscast coming up, so we'll see you again. Just what time is it? It's 5:20. Since I'm doing the 5:30, I should probably mosey now.
Me too.
Thank you so much. You can keep leaving your questions, and we'll get back to them. Leave your questions and comments. And again, thank you so much. We'll see you.
Thank you. Thanks, Julie.
Bye.